Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another wonderful round of LMU brought to you by TRACKILICIOUS, partnered with the SimGrid, of course, and Coach Dave Academy. We're racing one more time. This time we are going to be racing at Interlagos. Of course, let's review the championship standings. It's Ricardo Rivera, Jake Terrell, and Jace Wright, 1, 2, and 3 for you. Separated by 10 points for P1. Ricardo Rivera leads the charge with nothing but podiums. Jake Terrell also with nothing but podiums to his name, but drop round of 3 for each of those drivers. Jace Wright with a 5-2-3 last time of running at Sebring, placed 3rd place overall. Jake Wells in 4th, Lucas Hayashi in 5th, Zach Terrell in 6th, Gelson Cruz, Kevin Yu, Siege Engine, Thiago Dinarte, Pedro Artoni, Dom Matroni, Josh Hildenbrand, Jade Thompson, Adriana Moro, Ryan Eason, Mr. Reason, Kai Jackman, Felipe Chagas, Anthony Camacho, Morgan Roberts Jr., Jason Carlin, Wilson Ortiz, Darren Wicks, Andre Alex Alfonso, Aaron Silva, Rocky Rocco, Chandler Williams, George Elmer, Jacob Church, Lloyd, Gabriel Setsuo Hideyoshi, Justin Fortunato, R. Felker, Isaac Cortez, Moro Liato, Ross McLean, Javier Gomez, Joe Allison, Alex Hansen, Gavin Cambray, JPR, Jeff Spangler, and Mario Jr. Whew! 44 participants in this championship so far. Let's see who's making it onto the grid tonight, folks. We're going to go right over to the live screen and check out the racing action. Qualifying session underway. We've got 28 drivers out and about right now, and a handful of them still hanging out in pit lane, surprisingly. Jace Wright, Alex Hansen, Ryan Eason, and George Elmer are the drivers out there setting times right now. Everybody else sitting in pit lane with 13 minutes to go. I hope the hurry up and go gets on for these drivers, because they've got a little bit of work to do to catch up to the rest of the grid. Fastest lap time is 1:36.626. That'll be set by Jace Wright, the driver we're looking at right now, but you can't see the names. Let's get the onboard driver box up. There is Jace Wright driving the red, white, and blue Ferrari 296. 2.6 liter V6. Of course, that's what the 2.9 and the 6 mean. Hopefully the chat bot is working. Let's run a quick test. And good test. Awesome. Close that, close that, close that, and back to the racing action. Jace Wright, driver in the lead right now. Hopefully the onboard camera works. It does not work. Switching over to Alex Hansen, driving the yellow Mercedes. Newer car to Le Mans Ultimate, folks, but Alex Hansen seemingly making that one work out well for himself. 1:37.397 is going to be the time to beat. Can he beat it? Not at this time of asking, I don't think. Wish we could go on board for a lap with Alex Hansen driving that Mercedes, but unfortunately not. We're going to just watch from the sidelines and keep the qualifying times up to see if he can beat it or not. A handful of drivers sitting at pit exit. There must have been something said during the driver's briefing about that. Ricardo Rivera, no, that's Ryan Eason, having a big slip, trip, and fall. Coming through what looks like turn 6. No, that'll be turn 12 now. as he's coming up to 14 now and approaching 15. That might be the end of his qualifying run. That will be the end of Ryan Easen's qualifying run, and there go out the next 4 drivers in the qualifying session. There go out a handful of drivers for the qualifying session. Tetsuo Hideyoshi driving the Porsche, and that should be Ricardo Rivera alongside him, and they're getting a bit racy leading down in towards turn 4. Broken LMU again. Stand by, folks. And we're back. Let's talk about Interlagos a little bit. The track was renamed in 1985 to honor Jose Carlos Pache, a Brazil F1 driver who won his only Grand Prix at Interlagos in 1975, but tragically died in a plane crash in 77. We have a track length of 2.67 miles or 4.3 kilometers. I still don't know what the heck a kilometer is. It was founded in 1940. It's got 15 corners, 5 to the right, 10 to the left, elevation of 41 meters or 134 feet. We're in the city of Sao Paulo, Brazil, and we are racing with TRACKILICIOUS, folks. A wonderful occasion to be out. Nowhere I'd rather be on my Tuesday evening than with you guys here at the TRACKILICIOUS team. So if you're tuning in live or watching in the future, appreciate it if you'd like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. It helps the analytics and supports the community quite a bit to keep the lights on. Of course, we have the Keep the Lights On fund going at the bottom of the screen on the studio page. All donations go towards keeping the lights on here at TRACKILICIOUS and the community thriving into being such a wonderful place to hang out where you get to enjoy all the race action for free, folks. Of course, donations are not required. They're just asked upon when times are needed. And I think times are needed to keep the servers running. Ask Eric Kakasian, the boss Kakasian, or if you don't want to do that and you want to donate some time to the TRACKILICIOUS community, reach out to Eric. I'm sure he can find a job for you within the TRACKILICIOUS community, whether it's being a steward, a manager, an admin, something. Eric is always looking for passionate individuals to take charge of the community. So reach out to Mr. Gakasian, Eric the Boss Gakas, and he can hook you up with more details. Right now, Tetsuo Hideyoshi running in 8th place, going green sector 1, obviously, in sector 2, improving by a little bit of a margin. Coming around the final corner now. Will he hug the apron towards pit lane like most drivers do? Not as tight as he possibly could. Probably trying to avoid the track limits violations there. Hideyoshi goes good enough for 3.6 off the good of Ricardo Rivera, but of course he's got very cold tires right now. He's got to manage that condition and work his way forward. Flashy of the headlights from the car behind. Trying to get by Tetsuo Hideyoshi before we get down towards turn 4. And I think the BMW backed out of it there, understood that Hideyoshi potentially on a flyer and did not want to impede that lap. Check out Joshua Hildenbrand driving the BMW. Target time 1:35.474, of course. Jace Wright in second place. Thiago Dinarte, is now in second place. 3 thousandths away from a pole position time. (1:35.477). Ricardo Rivera sees that time, decides to want to go back out one more time. Josh Hildenbrand looking good through sector 1 for now. 8th place is where he rests his head. He's trying to work his way forward. A little bit of a wiggle there from Hildenbrand, the number 99. And that is more than a wiggle. That is an excursion of track limits off and into the grass. That's going to hurt his lap, obviously, but not only that, hurt his following lap. Hildenbrand got to shake off the dirt. Maybe he's going to come down pit road. No, avoids it. Use this lap as a banker and then try to set another one. 138.362, still good enough for 8th place. Ryan Eason sitting in pit lane. Let's look at Zach Terrell driving the Mustang. Just starting their lap, sitting in 12th position overall. Dom Matroni finds 7th place, bumps back Adriano Moro and Siege Engine. Alex Hansen sitting in pit lane. Jace Wright sitting in pit lane, the driver in 3rd position right now. More changes on the leaderboard with 4 minutes remaining. Ricardo Rivera, Thiago Dinarte, Jake Terrell, Jace Wright, Gelson Cruz, Wilson Ortiz, Alex Hansen, Dom Petroni, Adriano Moro, Siege Engine, Pedro Artoni, Joshua Hildenbrand, Ryan Eason, and then Zach Terrell will round out the first 14 drivers. Setsuo Hideyoshi in 15th, George Elmer in 16th, Gabriel Vigorino in 17th, Isaac Cortez in 18th, Gavin Cambray in 19th, Jake Wells, Chandler Williams, Rocky Rocco, Aaron Silva, Kevin Yu, Ross McLean, Casey Jackman, Lucas Hayashi, Felipe Chagas will be the 28 participants tonight. Zach Terrell, good enough for 9th position with a 137.494 on that last lap that he was able to run. A little bit of a tank slapper there coming through 3. Around the bend of 3 he goes, and I think that should be that Dom Matroni off. That is Dom Matroni off in the infield. Right at pit exit, so that'll be the exit of turn 1. That'll be the end of Dom Matroni's run. Alex Hansen in pit lane. Gelson Cruz on an outlap right now. Check out Ricardo Rivera. Purple sector 2, purple sector 3. Ricardo Rivera finds a little bit more time to gap himself from Thiago Dinarte, the other Lamborghini driver on the grid tonight. Jake Terrell in 3rd position is out and about, but no longer, as he has a beautiful pirouette, gets the car pointed in the right direction, but that will be the end of his run. Looks like that happened at turn 1 also. Spits the car out in the right direction. Hopefully he can get this one plus one more when he crosses the line before the timer ends. Siege Engine Gelson Cruz also trying to get bankers in right now. On an outlap right now. Hopefully crossing the line with enough time to spare to get this bonus lap in for Siege Engine. Driver in 5th place right now. Switching over to Gelson Cruz as they start their lap. Sector 1. 6th place where Gelson Cruz is resting right now. Let's see what time they get for Sector 1. 25.869. Slight improvement there by 0.2 of a second. Not too shabby. Gelson Cruz coming through sector 2 now. Expecting to see around 49 seconds, 50 seconds on the clock for the overall lap. But the lap time, or the sector time that we're looking for, should be around 48, 49 seconds. So any second now, we'll see the timing update in the bottom right-hand side of your screen. And hopefully that shows green for Gelson Cruz. There it is, more time gained for Gelson. Now, sector 3 is where you got to nail all the high-speed corners. Corners 13, 14, and 15, hugging the inside pit lane as much as possible. And he crosses the line. Will it be enough to improve his overall position? Gelson Cruz, purple sector 3, 136.466, shows you how close it is. He's a second off the pace, and down into 5th position he goes. Holy Toledo. We have less than a tenth separating P1 and P2 right now. Half a second back is Jake Terrell. Then you have 6 tenths back Jace Wright. Gelson Cruz 1 second down. Siege Engine finds some improvement, but it's not good enough because Gelson improved also on that time of asking. That's going to round things out for the qualifying run. And there is your grid, folks. Taking a look at the results, it's Thiago Dinarte, Ricardo Rivera, Jace Wright, Jake Terrell, Jace Wright, Gelson Cruz, Siege Engine, Wilson Ortiz, Alex Hansen, Zach Terrell, and Dom Matroni. There's your top 10. Adriano Moro, Pedro Artoni, Joshua Hildenbrand, Ryan Eason, Setsuo Hideyoshi, George Elmer, and Gabriel Vigorino will be your 17th driver to take the grid tonight. Starting order tonight will be Thiago Dinarte and Ricardo Rivera on row 1. Jake Terrell and Jace Wright on row 2. In row 3, we're going to have Siege Engine with Gelson Cruz in 5th place. On row 4, we're going to see Wilson Ortiz and Alex Hansen. Following that, on row 5, we're going to have Zach Terrell and Dom Matroni from CRT. In row 6, Adriano Moro, Pedro Artoni. In row 7, Joshua Hildenbrand and Ryan Eason. Row number 8 will be Setsu Hideyoshi and George Elmer.
Lap has started.
In row 9, we're going to have Gabriel Vigorino and Aaron Silva. Rocky Rocco next to Jake Wells in 20th. And Kevin Yu, Ross McLean, but that's going to do it for our starting order for now, as the race is about to get underway, folks. Thiago Dinarte, Ricardo Rivera on that front row, 2 Lamborghinis, matching liveries, side by side. We'll take the green flag. And it is dark here at Interlagos. All the lights are on. And we're just moments away from getting rolling here at Interlagos. Thank you for joining us. Sights and Sounds brought to you by TRACKILICIOUS. Make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. The anticipation is killing me. Green, green, green. Away we go. You heard it from race control right there. We're going to go 3 wide, leading down in towards turn 1 on the inside. Looks like Jake Terrell trying to go for a move. The number 83 trying to chop the nose off of Ricardo Rivera, and he will do that through turn 2 and through turn 3. And someone is off. Is that Siege Engine? That will be Siege Engine tumbling down the order, driving the Iron Dames Porsche, as he got a little bit squirrely coming down to the wire. It's going to be nose to tail right now for the Lamborghini drivers, and sandwiched in between them will be the Corvette driver of Jake Terrell. In fourth place, we have Jace Wright driving the red, white, and blue Ferrari. In fifth place, we have Gelson Cruz, and that'll be in the BMW. Dom Matroni in sixth, Alex Hansen in seventh, Zach Terrell in eighth, Pedro Artoni in ninth, Joshua Hildenbrand in 10th, Reason, Mr. Ryan Eason in 11th, George Elmer, Adriana Moro. But it is so single file right now. It's actually a less than a second gap between 1, 2, and 3 as it sits. That's how close the grid is forming. Jace Wright looking like he wants to pounce sooner rather than later, posturing himself very well to try to get a run out of turn 14 and in towards turn 1. Will he get the overspeed that he's looking for? Not quite there, not on this opportunity. He's a little too far back to make something work, but looking forward, Ricardo Rivera 2/10 back from Jake Terrell, and closing down pretty fiercely through turn 2 into turn 3 here at Interlagos. It's looking pretty neat and tidy for the drivers at the front of the grid. Ricardo Rivera not where he wants to be right now, resting his head in third position. Was sitting in pole position at the start of this race, but now tumbles down into third overall. Dialga Denarte having a happy little race, almost a second gap to Jake Terrell, as Terrell bunches up the pack behind him. Keeping an eye on the deltas between all the drivers. Close pack racing everywhere you look. Pretty much not more than a second gap at lap 2. We got 47 minutes left of racing tonight, folks, so don't go anywhere. Make sure you grab your popcorn. Stay tuned, because we've got lots more coming at you. Siege Engine takes a DNF. Chagas Hayashi DNFs as well. A lot of other drivers resting in pit lane, unable to make this event. Here comes Ricardo Rivera's charge on Jake Terrell, coming through turn 14 and 15. This will surely be a move to the inside going in towards turn 1, and he is fully alongside, makes the dive, slams on the brakes, ducks are glowing, and he gets the overspeed. That's Jake Terrell for you, carrying his way around the outside, dragging in some more speed with him, and shutting the door on a man like Ricardo Rivera is no easy task. He shuts the door one more time, leading down in towards turn 4. They're going to door bang a little bit. Covering off that regular racing line is that number 83. Jace Wright getting a little impatient behind these two drivers, wants to get involved somehow, some way, at least get by Ricardo Rivera. If Rivera is going to keep making mistakes, going for moves and not sticking to them, is definitely going to slow down the pack overall. Speaking of pack slowing down, Jake Terrell has formed a 1.3 second gap to Dialga Denarte out in first place. So those drivers that think they could throw fisticuffs down with Dialga Denarte want to get the hurry up and go on sooner rather than later, before the first pit stop cycle becomes open. Flashy up the headlights from behind. I wonder who that could be for. Not seeing any very close gaps right now. Door slightly ajar there from Terrell. They're going to go side by side through turn 14. Big wiggle of the wheel for the Lamborghini of Ricardo Rivera. Flashy of the headlights. We know who that's from, and 2. That's towards Jake Terrell. Frustration, but I think Ricardo Rivera did that to himself. Jace Wright going for a move on Ricardo Rivera now. Said, you had your chance. Now it's my turn. to go after Jake Terrell. And he takes the opportunity leading down into towards turn 1. And you don't need to ask Jace Wright to make a move more than one time. He'll just straight up go for it. And he grabbed that opportunity, and he is running with it right now. Jace Wright, the driver, now in 3rd position. Check back in with Alex Hansen as he sticks a wheel along the inside of Dom Matroni. Can't get that one to stick though. Alex Hansen, a seasoned driver here with TRACKILICIOUS, driving number 60 Mercedes. There he goes to the inside at turn 14. We've seen mistakes happen leading down towards 15. Can he carry the speed without slipping around? He sure does. Alex Hansen finds out 6th place is his now. Flashy at the headlights, Alex Hansen. We see you, buddy. Great overtake from a man named Alex Hansen, driving the yellow Iron Lynx Mercedes. Checking back in with the Jake Terrell, Jace Wright battle. 0.3 of a second separates them. Ricardo Rivera about 0.4 back from that battle also right now. 16 drivers remaining on this grid. And now looking at Ricardo Rivera as we chase down Jace Wright and Jake Terrell. Actually, Jake Terrell's done a great job of keeping it right around 1 second, 1.2 seconds to Thiago Dinarte. It's not like Thiago is running away with it like he stole it. He might be managing his tires a little bit now. And the other drivers just need to be cognizant of Thiago Dinarte potentially running away with it. Jace Wright looking to posture himself. Oh, covering off the inside line from Ricardo Rivera's attack. Then we go the long way around the outside, potentially go for a switchback, but Jace Wright parks it on the apex. Does not allow Ricardo Rivera to carry any more speed that he needs to get the overtake done, leading down and towards turn 4. Craftsmanship from Jace Wright, positioning his car in a defensive maneuver, while also gaining time on Jake Terrell, who's in front of him, the number 83 Corvette racing car. A lot of times what you'll see is when you go on the defensive for one corner, you lose out to the car in front. Jace Wright, expert driving there, not only blocked off the attempt from Ricardo Rivera, closed down a gap on Jake Terrell by 0.3 of a second, going through sector 1. Well, that's pretty crafty if I do say so myself. And Jake Terrell still managing that 1 second gap to Thiago Dinarte out in front. You can see him there, just right in front of the Jake Terrell, Jace Wright, Ricardo Rivera battle that we're paying attention to right now. Drivers separated by 0.3 of a second there. Zach Terrell within 0.3 of Dom Matroni. Matroni under siege now from Big Bad Mustang. Let's see if he yields this position as well to the 8th place car of Zach Terrell. Mustang V8 muscle car. Powerful in a straight line. Front engine car, obviously. Leading down into towards turn 1. It looks like Matroni is defensive. does not want to allow Zach Terrell through for free. And Pedro Artoni in tow by 0.4 of a second also. Battle for 8th, 9th, and 7th, 8th, and 9th still up for grabs. And that's Alex Hansen flashing his headlights up ahead down the road. And Alex Hansen in a bit of a world by himself. 1.5 second gap, 4 seconds up to Gelson Cruz. And Gelson Cruz also on a bit of a lonely island. 4 seconds up to Ricardo Rivera and 4 seconds back to Alex Hansen. Mustang number 69, nice. Chasing down Dom Matroni, coming out of 13, now into 14. No overlap to be found here. Moves over to the inside line for 14. This is going to be an overtake for sure, leading down and towards turn 1 as the drivers approach 15. They nearly touch, going wheel to wheel. Zach Terrell carrying a ton more speed than that McLaren on the exit of turn 14. They're going to go completely wheel to wheel on the entry. Door bang a little bit on the entry to turn 1. Continue that side-by-side battle. Matroni has to mount the sausage curbs. Gets a little squirrely, but so does the Mustang. Pedro Artoni goes off and wide to avoid the carnage. And Zach Terrell, the driver worse for wear right now. But Artoni, the one who made the smart move, took a track cut there to avoid the carnage that was about to ensue in front of him. Gets 2 positions for 1 ahead of Dom Matroni and Ryan Eason. Setsuo Hideyoshi driving the Red Bull Porsche. 2/10 back from George Elmer. And no, I'm not talking about the glue man. Driving the 87 Lexus out in front. And Zach Terrell, the number 69. Oh, hold that thought as George Elmer backs out of it. Lets Zach Terrell through also. So Setsuo 1 position up, Zach Terrell 2 positions gained there. Take a look at the positions gained, lost right now. Thiago Denarte, start of the race in P1. Oh, and there goes Setsuo Hideyoshi off at turn 14. Able to come back onto the track and come back into the pack racing that he was involved in earlier. Terrell up 1, Wright up 1, Rivera down 2 into 4th place after starting the race in 2nd position. Gelson Cruz in 5th, negated 0. Alex Hansen up 2, Artoni's up 5, the biggest gainer right now. Matroni's up 2, Hildenbrand's up 4, Moro is up 1, Ryan Eason up 3, Terrell's down 3, Elmer up 3, Hideyoshi up 1, and Vigorino up 2. Thiago Denarte and Jake Terrell now within half a second of each other. So all that effort from Jake Terrell to close down the gap once he had stopped being able to defend or stopped needing to defend from the cars behind, as Jace Wright is a half second back and safely put there. Check in with that Jace Wright battle. He's not safe any longer as the gaps come down to 2/10. Ricardo Rivera losing touch a little bit, 1 second down from the pack battle that we're looking at right now. Side by side through the infield. Jace Wright not giving up an inch because he knows that'll mean a mile of following. The second place car of Jake Terrell covers off the line that Jace Wright was trying to occupy. If these two drivers can work it out amongst themselves, they could catch Thiago Dinarte and challenge him for a win. Right now, it will take a mistake from Thiago Dinarte to close down a 1 second gap to the cars behind him. Closest battle is the one that we're looking at, 0.2 of a second separating Jake Terrell and Jace Wright. Coming out of turn 15, both drivers following single file on the driver in front, trying to carry as much slipstream as possible. Oh, and they touch, Martin. Oh, and they touch. A little bump in the tushy from Jace Wright to Jake Terrell, leading down in towards one, allows Ricardo Rivera to catch back up, but most importantly, unleashes Thiago Dinarte by 1.8 seconds. Ricardo Rivera 0.2 away from Jace Wright. More importantly, Rivera, an expert driver in all crafts of the term sim racing. You don't want to give him an inch. He'll squeeze that Lamborghini for everything she's got and take positions without looking backwards. But if you can bust up his rhythm and allow other cars to get around him, you can disrupt his race. And I think that's what Jace Wright and Jake Terrell have figured out earlier on in this event and done to Ricardo Rivera, keeping him in 4th place as much as possible and as long as possible. Ricardo Rivera having a big bagel coming through turn 12 and setting himself up through turn 13. Thiago Dinarte, Jake Terrell, Jace Wright, Ricardo Rivera is your 1, 2, 3, 4. Gelson Cruz in 5th, Alex Hansen, Pedro Artoni, Dom Matroni, Josh Hildenbrand, Adriano Moro will be your top 10. Ryan Eason in 11th, Zach Terrell in 12th, Setsuro Hideyoshi in 13th, George Elmer, Gabriel Vigorino, Isaiah Cortez, Gavin Cambrai will round out the rest of the field. I believe I saw a change for position. Setsuro Hideyoshi getting by George Elmer there. Jace Wright closing down the gap on Jake Terrell in P2, down to 0.2 of a second. That's where we were a lap ago. Only Thiago Dinarte was a lot closer to these two. Ricardo Rivera continuing to fall back is now down 0.7 of a second, coming out of 14. And into turn 15, their drivers are nose to tail. Will this be the opportunity for Jace Wright to make a move to the inside line? Following in the slipstream for now. Does he make a lunge at turn 1? He's too far back to make that one end up working out for him. Doesn't want a repeat of what happened on the previous lap, running into the back end of Jake Terrell, so he avoids the issue by following in single file and keeping his nose clean this time around. 1.6, the gap to Thiago Dinarte up ahead. Jake Terrell in P2, Jace Wright in P3, Ricardo Rivera in P4, 7 3/4 second down. Still nose to tail for an entire lap. Jace Wright trailing Jake Terrell in P2. Fry versus Corvette. .29 minutes remaining. The pit stop cycle will be open here after this lap. The drivers electing to split this one in half. The time will be this lap or this lap plus one more based on the way the timing looks. And if C brings anything to indicate the pit window being open for the drivers, most of them will split it directly down the middle, 50-50 split. Take a new change of boots and get rolling again down pit road after refueling. We are running with 2 times tire wear and 2x on the fuel multiplier. The drivers will need to pit at least once for these events. And if you're interested in getting involved in any LMU racing with Tracklicious, check out !SimGrid and get involved with the SimGrid Championship. You can always sign up and hope that there's a spot available for you on race day if the registration is full. As you can see, we have a couple of extra spots available. Jake Terrell closes down the gap on Thiago Dinarte down to 0.4 of a second. Jace Wright in tow though, trailing by 0.2 of a second. No flags shown on track. That means there's a driver off somewhere that we need to pay attention to. Hopefully not a race-ending crash. Let's check out the Hideyoshi battle, as he is a couple tenths away from Mr. Ryan Eason. Coming up to turn 15 now. The inside line is greatly defended by Ryan Eason. Hideyoshi goes to the top side of the track, tries to turn in on Mr. Eason, drags George Elmer out with him. Ryan Eason on the defensive line, leading down and towards turn 4. Jace Wright making a mistake, opening up the gap to 1 second to himself and Thiago Dinarte. It was under 1 before. Oh, what happened to side-by-side action coming through 14? Ooh, and there is a big kiss to the wall from Ryan Eason. Carrying a little bit too much speed through turn 15 on an unfamiliar line will do that to a driver. Saagar Dinarte leads Jace Wright, Ricardo Rivera into third. What happened to Jake Terrell? Down in 13th position. He must have gone into the pits. Pit out from that battle that he was in. Trying to get an undercut done here at Interlagos. Powerful move. Setsuo Hideyoshi, being the faster driver between Ryan Eason and George Elmer, should escape the clutches of those behind him. Let's take a look at the number of stops. And there is Terrell in 15th, actually, with one pit stop to his name. Cruz Hansen into pit lane. And Zach Terrell, the number 69, all by his lonesome. That is the Mustang. I'm actually looking for the other Terrell, Jake Terrell, driving the Corvette. Cruz, Hildenbrand, Hansen, Matroni, Morrow, all in the pits. Saagar Dinarte, Jace Wright, Ricardo Rivera, Pedro Artoni, Setsuo Hideyoshi, and Reason staying out. Those are your front six drivers. Jake Terrell does hold the fastest lap of the event right now, 136.582. There goes Wright, Rivera, Dinarte in the pit road. Let's see where Jake Terrell is able to come out. Whoa, big tank slappers there from the Corvette of Ryan Eason in front of Jake Terrell. And off goes Hideyoshi at 14, excuse me. That's turn 15. And Ryan Eason comes down pit lane. And will Terrell actually inherit the lead of this event? He does get the undercut secured. Great move from Jake Terrell, as he's able to pull one over on Ricardo Rivera and Jace Wright. Ricardo Rivera in P2 right behind, but he's 2.1 seconds down now. Terrell, Rivera, Wright, Dinarte, Artoni, Hideyoshi, Eason, Hansen, Hildenbrand, Matroni, Vigorino, Elmer, Terrell, Morrow, Cruz. The remaining participants tonight. .9-second gap from Terrell to Ricardo Rivera. That was an excellent pit stop from Jake Terrell. Hopefully he's got enough fuel and tires to make it to the end. 20 minutes remaining of this session, folks. The time is just ticked away. Adrian Amoro battling with Zach Terrell, coming through turn 15s now. The lovely Lexus on the optimum line. Holding defensively is going to be Zach Terrell on the inside line. The battle for 12th place is going to spice up here in just a few moments. The Lexus goes a little bit deep at turn 2. Almost collides with the Ford Mustang, but avoids the damage and carnage that would ensue from that contact. And I'm seeing windshield wipers come on, but I'm not seeing any rain. I wonder if there is rain coming down here at Interlagos. And that would be an interesting finish to this event if the rain becomes increasingly heavy. If some drivers would be able to drive better on intermediate tires, but with the pit lane delta that's here at Interlagos, I doubt there's enough time left for anybody to really take that and run with it. Ryan Ease and George Elmer getting involved in a little bit of tussle. Into turn 1 they go, the 87 and the 82, the Lexus versus the Corvette. George Elmer defends Ryan Easen's attacking blows. He says, "Parry that, you filthy casual." Adrian Moro on the attack to Zach Terrell. And the 87 Lexus chasing down the number 69. Nice. And the Ford Mustang. Closest battle that we have on track is this one here, the Ford Mustang getting squirrely whirly out in front of the number 87. Having small bits of oversteer and not being able to carry the speed to some of the faster stuff on track. The 87 Lexus seems very planted in comparison. Both cars V8 front engine vehicles. Adrian Moro using all the track that he's bought and paid for here at Interlagos. Goes all the way over to the pit wall before coming back across for turn 1. Oh, big mistake from Zach Terrell. Into 1. Uses the runoff area to control himself. Get back in front of... Whoa, there's a huge tank slapper from Zach Terrell. And that seemingly came from nowhere. Adrian Moro promoted into 11th position. And Zach Terrell goes back into 12th. That will conclude that battle. Big gaps at the front of the field. Jake Terrell leads over Ricardo Rivero by 3.8 seconds. He's so far back, we have to pan the camera around. Jace Wright in P3. Alex Hansen, 33 seconds back from there, will be in P4. Pedro Artoni, 27 seconds away from that. In 5th place, Joshua Hildenbrand, 7 seconds down. And he is actually in pit lane, Hildenbrand. Just got passed by Ryan Easen and almost getting passed by Dom Matroni, who's in pit lane. George Elmer in 9th now, Gets past Dom Matroni, but does he also get past Joshua Hildenbrand coming out of pit road? Wipers on heavily for the drivers. No, he does not get past Hildenbrand, 7th position, 8.6 seconds away. Jake Terrell in the pits now. That might be his 2nd pit of the night. Ricardo Rivera re-promoted to P1. Terrell taking his 2nd pit stop of the evening. Obviously did not get the full fuel that he needed to make it to the end. Right, also with 2 pit stops. Perhaps this is a 2-pit event, as some of the people on the grid have done 2 pit stops already. Ricardo Rivera not being one of them. Alex Hansen goes down pit road. Switch over to Ricardo Rivera. Keep an eye on him and see when he'll decide to come to the pits, or if he needs to at all. Maybe the track is just getting so damp that some people are switching over to intermediates. And Ricardo Rivera does come down pit road. Brakes down to 60 kilometers an hour for the pit lane speed limit. This might promote Jake Terrell back up into P2. That would explain that tank slapper that we saw from the other Terrell, Zach, in the Ford Mustang. Maybe the track is so wet that intermediate tires are necessary. Jake Terrell does go back into the lead of the event. And we are seeing wet tires from Terrell, Wright, Rivera, Artoni. I apologize, this overlay is not fantastic. We are seeing wet tires from the majority of the grid now. Ryan Eason still on the mediums. Very interesting. Now you can see the spray building up behind Jake Terrell with 11 minutes left to go. The rooster tail is pretty enormous. You can see how much moisture has accumulated on the track. Ryan Eason comes to the pits, presumably to get onto wet tires also. George Elmer within 1 second of Setsuo Hideyoshi in 8th position. So much water now on the Interlagos track. That's definitely why we saw wipers on earlier in this event. The rain was just starting to come down, but not fully hitting the asphalt. Now it is puddles of water everywhere that you look. What about Adriana Moro? Within 1 second of Zach Terrell. Falls back to 1.6 seconds down from Zach Terrell. George Elmer slips away to 2.4 seconds from Setsuo Hideyoshi. But up at the front of the grid, Jake Terrell, gapping Jace Wright by 10 seconds. Cartavera 6 seconds down from there. Pedro Artoni in 4th place. Alex Hansen in 5th. Joshua Hildenbrand in 6th. Don Matroni in 7th, Setsuo Hideyoshi in 8th, George Elmer in 9th, Ryan Eason in 10th position. Couple of track facts for you while the race is quieted down. The original 1940 layout of Interlagos was a massive 7.96 kilometers. I still don't know what a kilometer is. 4.94 miles long. Oh. Featuring long sweeping corners, it was shortened to 4.309 kilometers or 2.677 miles in 1990 to meet modern safety standards. Let's talk about some iconic moments here at the Interlagos circuit. 1991, Ayrton Senna's win despite his gearbox failure. Then his first Brazilian Grand Prix victory at Interlagos was nothing short of heroic. He lost several gears due to mechanical failures such as George Elmer losing mechanical grip with the track. Lexus not looking as stable as it was a few laps ago. Then I was able to hold off Nigel Mansell for the win in 1991. In 2008, Lewis Hamilton battled with Timo Glock on the final corner, on the final lap, in the rain to steal the title from Felipe Massa by just 1 point, making him the youngest ever world champion at the time at 23 years old. In 2012, Sebastian Vettel had a comeback. He was spun around on lap 1 and dropped to the back of the grid, but recovered to P6, securing his 3rd straight title by just 3 points over Fernando Alonso. Six minutes and 25 seconds remaining by the end of my spiel, folks. That means just a handful more laps remaining before we'll call this one closed. Picking up on the gaps throughout the field, it's pretty stagnant right now. 8.8 second gap from Terrell to Jace Wright. The battle for P1 and P2, pretty quiet. Drivers both setting nearly identical lap times right now. 27.6, 27.8 through Sector 1, 53.3 for Sector 2, 53.6 respectively. Cartavera in P3, Pedro Artoni in P4. 41 seconds back from Ricardo Rivera. Exciting race here at Interlagos. One pit stop being required, but no, the rain came in, making it 2 pit stops required. to make it to the checkered flag. Positions gained overall throughout this race so far with 4 minutes remaining. Shown on the left-hand side of your screen, yellow flag is cleared from the track. The driver who had spun obviously recovering. Jake Terrell up 2, right up 2, Rivera down 1, Artoni up 8. Big drive for the BMW driver. Hansen's up 3, Hildenbrand up 7, Matroni up 3, Hideyoshi up 7, with Elmer up 7 as well. Eason up 4, Terrell down 2, Morrow down 1, Vigorino up 4, excuse me, and Gelson Cruz down 9. The Lexus number 87 in 9th place, George Elmer, yields out of the way for Jake Terrell to continue on his race without impedance. We will get a bonus lap out of this event, folks, as Jake Terrell gets ready to cross the line. Or will this be the white flag, actually? Excuse me. This will actually be the white flag, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think Terrell can make it around one more time. This comes through turn 5 now. Into turn 6. Jake Terrell has been on a rampage, sat back in second place, pulled out an undercut strategy on the leaders of this event. And now should take the checkered flag in 44 seconds. Done a phenomenal job pulling off the strategy masterclass here at Interlagos. The Jose Carlos Pache Autodromo. Will we get a bonus lap? It is very close now. Jake Terrell could force us into an additional bonus lap. And he does force an additional bonus lap with just 3 seconds left to go. Jake Terrell, the masterclass driver, refusing to yield at the line to let the timer go down. He is a racer through and through. Race till the checkered flag waves for any reason. Even with a 9-second lead, almost 10-second lead over Jace Wright, he's still driving his heart's content probably enjoying the conditions that he's facing even. Nighttime rain. Jake Terrell coming around turn 10 and 11 now. Getting set up for turn 12, 13. Will take the checkered flag when he crosses the line. Do some donuts for us, Jake Terrell, if you have the fuel to spare. Congratulations on the win here at TRACKILICIOUS' LMU Tuesday Night Championship. You have officially won. Congratulations, Jake Terrell, for pulling off the masterclass in strategy. Great driving all around, but Jake Terrell did it best, folks. Jace Wright will cross the line in P2. Ricardo Rivera in P3. Alex Hansen with an outstanding drive into P4. Joshua Hildenbrand trying to change that, actually. 8/10 separating Alex Hansen from Josh Hildenbrand. Hildenbrand just behind, driving the BMW number 99. This might turn out to be a drag to the line, folks. Make sure you have your popcorn handy, because Hildenbrand is posturing himself through 10 into 11, 12. Can he get the speed that he needs to make it to the line? He goes for a lunge to the inside line at turn 13, but it's not enough there. It will be Alex Hansen to claim P4 with Hildenbrand in P5, just 9/10 back. Alex Hansen, huge gainer of the evening. P4, Hildenbrand into P5. Pedro Artoni in P6. Dom Matroni in 7th position when he crosses the line. And Setsuo Hideyoshi will be in 8th place. George Elmer in 9th. Ryan Eason in 10th. Zach Terrell in 11th. Adriano Moro in 12th. Gabriel Vigorino in 13th. Dialgo Dinarte, Gelson Cruz, Wilson Ortiz taking DNFs. Let's head back over to the booth before we close things out. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very much for staying tuned. If you've watched from green to checkered flag, it's been a pleasure to be your host tonight. I'm Saagar Bakshi, aka The Real High. On behalf of TRACKILICIOUS, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you so much for your love and support, everybody. If you like what you saw, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next week. Great racing, Doc Milwee. As always, everybody stay safe out there. Have a great night. Bye. Oh, let's raid someone. I apologize. That's how we close things out here at TRACKILICIOUS. Let's see who's streaming. Copy. I love the music from LMU, by the way. Stay tuned while we get ready to raid someone. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. As always, make sure you stay safe out there. Bye-bye, folks.